Welcome, everybody, to Movies, Comics, Umbrella, the MCU podcast.
I'm
I,
Frogger, also known as
I'm
Brandon.
Chris. I'm Chris.
Frog. So, as always, we recorded this just after Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and we're kind of running off of the high of a really good season finale.
It's very good. I have not watched a network television show like this since Lost.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's kind of fun being back into it. I mean, most of the time I'm used to watching like HBO dramas and stuff like that, which don't normally have this kind of
Build up.
action vibe when it gets to the end. That sort of dramatic tension and all that. I shouldn't say dramatic tension. The dramatic tension tied with action and the pacing. But I really like this. This season was rough to start off with, but the end has been great. It really has been kind of giving me some vibes towards Lost, especially with Fitzsimmons trapped in the cube under the water. I was getting some really sad Charlie flashbacks.
Well, we'll get into all of that at the end of this week's episode because, maybe some people haven't watched it yet. We don't want to spoil it right out.
Oh no, not at all.
But we'll just say this, that if you haven't given Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a watch, give it a watch. It is definitely worth it now that the first season's over. It's a little rough at times, but it ends up being really worth it.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like a lot of shows have that issue. Not too many shows, their first few episodes right out of the gate, except maybe like your first episode. Normally there's a slow part in there when they're kind of getting their footing and getting things built up.
There's a part of me that wonders if maybe they shouldn't have gotten rid of all of the gaps that they had, where they had all of the fucking breaks, and instead just started the series a little later so that it was an uninterrupted season up until Winter Soldier.
Well, I don't think it was necessarily that. I think it was that for the first series of episodes, they were only very loosely, tangentially connected to anything Marvel related, really. There was no supervillain to fight, there was no real antagonist, there was just kind of small stuff here and there.
It was a lot of world building.
Yeah, it was a lot of world building, which isn't bad. I mean, obviously, having that world built has paid off for them monumentally now at this point, but it was a little bit slow, and I don't hold that against the series.
No.
I know some people do, but I think those people hopefully will give it a shot and you'll be able to enjoy it.
But one week we'll probably sit down and really talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as like a post-mortem now that the first season is over and we have a second season confirmed, as was done last week, and we have another series to look forward to.
Yes, Marvel has announced, it's been in talks for a while, but Haley Atwell will be starring a new Agent Carter series, which is going to be following Haley Atwell reprising her role as Peggy Carter, Captain America's love interest during the first movie, as she starts up the agency of S.H.I.E.L.D. back in the 1940s.
Yes, I am really looking forward to that after they pretty much did a pilot for it already. And it was really good, and if memory serves, that was on the Iron Man 3 DVD Blu-ray.
I believe you are correct.
Because the one before that was Item 47. Yeah, so it was on Iron Man 3. It's sad that I always know where most of them lie.
It's a little nerdy. I'm not going to judge you too much.
I just have a really good memory when it comes to that kind of shit.
Yeah. Not for math, though.
No, actually, I'm pretty good at math.
Are you?
Except when I'm drinking, which is usually when we're doing this.
I remember every Digimon and its evolutions, but I can't remember anything from like math, like 8th grade on.
A little fun fact about me: when I was in high school, I think I was a freshman, I was a junior. Sorry, and I was in high-level algebra. My teacher tried to fail me because I was doing all the math in my head.
Oh, that's just sad.
Because he's like, you need to show your work. I'm like, I don't have any work to show. It's all up here.
You're like, I'm too amazing.
And then he did fail me, and then I had to go to dumb math.
Coincidentally, I also have a hilarious math story. My last year of high school, I took calculus, and it got so confusing that I just stopped trying halfway through the year. And eventually, a test was given out. I didn't know any of the answers, so I just drew a picture of a dog for one of the answers. And my teacher felt so bad that she gave me just enough to pass, and she was like, "Good drawing of the dog. Just don't come back next year.
Just give up math."
She's like, just maybe when you get to fucking college, maybe you don't take math.
You're not cut out for no. Do not be an engineer.
Oof, no.
But back to Agent Carter. I like the fact that we've had a pilot already, and Agent Carter was a really good pilot. We kind of know a lot of the bones of where things will end up going.
Hmm.
because of Captain America, which they talked about it very slightly in Cap. But we're going to have quite a few things to build up to. We also are going to be able to have a wide breadth of characters that a lot of us like to see again, myself included. We could very easily have the Howling Commandos come back, which would be awesome.
Well, it's basically guaranteed that we're going to get the Howling Commandos in some form. I believe the gentleman who played Dum Dum Dugan's already confirmed he's going to be in the show,
Yes.
and Agent Carter, Peggy Carter during the Winter Soldier, sorry, had confirmed that she had married someone within the Howling Commandos.
Yep.
So very possible we'll see them as there as well. And Agent Triplet, who's in the Agents of Shield, is the grandson of one of the Howling Commandos. So it's very likely we'll be seeing that character in there as well. So a lot of stuff for them to play with. They've got a whole range of characters and storylines to work with. And I can't say for certain, I'm not 100% certain on this, but I think that they're also stating this isn't going to be a show they're intending to run seasons and seasons and seasons. I think this is something they're kind of planning with a little bit more of like a timed out kind of
I
range for the
from
series.
well, from what I interpreted from this is that they have a beginning and they have an end in mind.
Yeah.
They kind of have a plan for it. It might be like a couple of seasons, maybe 3, but they kind of know that they can't really have this thing run forever.
And that's always a good thing, I think, to know where your series exactly is going to be going. It helps you kind of keep the story together and
It
not
allows you to
kind of.
pace it.
Yeah, and you don't get episodes about Jack's tattoo or stupid bullshit like that because they just have no idea what else to do with their series at that point. So
And you have another show like Hannibal where they know exactly what they're doing each season and there's something happening in every episode that's progressing the plot,
yes.
which is very good. And anyone who's not watching that, by the way, you need to because no one's watching that show. um, it's got like a 1.6 in the ratings.
Ooh, it's
It's
not. That's
it's
not god awful.
it's actually not doing. It's doing just good enough to be renewed on a Friday. It's Friday at 10 o'clock
That's a
after
pretty.
Dateline,
That's a pretty bad death sentence.
but it's gonna get its 3rd season because it's that critically acclaimed.
Yeah.
But Agent Carter, they could easily have a nice plan out for it. Some Hydra stuff thrown in there. You can easily show the beginning of Shield. Somehow get that dump truck of money to get Tommy Lee Jones to show up for a couple episodes.
I want to see that dump truck full of money. I'd be stunned. It's the one thing I'm not expecting to see at all. I'm not expecting Tommy Lee Jones, but if he gets in there, I'd be so excited.
We got Sam Jackson twice.
Yeah, but Tommy Lee Jones isn't in anything else anymore, is he?
Yeah, that's the thing.
But
So,
I feel like that's personal choice in him. Like he's just like, oh, I'm so done of doing these things.
well, to be fair, if they want to make their pilot really pop, get Tommy Lee Jones in your pilot. I mean, your first episode, because they're shooting the whole season. They're not shooting a pilot. I should call a pilot. The first episode, your premiere, throw Tommy Lee Jones in there, say, hey, he's going to be in the first episode. Ta-da! And
Yeah.
bam, views.
Yeah, I mean they definitely could do that, and that'd probably work out.
And we all know Disney has probably an entire like warehouses of dump trucks filled with money, just waiting to be sent to people's houses.
I mean, considering all the properties they own and how much they've made off of all of them, yeah, they probably just have like dump trucks full of money that they back up in front of people's houses when they're just like, do something.
They're
Oh, they
like,
got
hey,
Harry-
Sam Jackson, what are you doing? He's like, I'm doing some stuff. Dump truck of money. We need you for Shield. We need you to show in the finale for Shield. Okay.
That's how they got Harrison Ford to be in Star Wars.
Exactly. Dump trucks of money.
He's,
Unfortunately, they didn't have one with Billy D. Williams on it. But so that's really cool, and I'm kind of happy. Maybe we'll get like a Marvel night, which would be kind of rad. Although they're kind of hinting that whenever Shield is going to be taking like a mid-season break, that's when Carter's going to pop in.
that makes sense. I mean, I think it's definitely cool that they're kind of expanding their television universe now even more. But I feel like if you try to put too much of this on at once, I feel like people are going to get kind of tired of it. So I think kind of almost having like a time slot that's designated for it, which I think I actually heard they're saying that Agents of Shield's going to start moving to 9 o'clock Eastern when it comes back next season. If they just have it, 9 o'clock on Tuesdays, I feel like that might work a little bit better than being like 8 o'clocks.
Yeah.
Agent Carter, and then 9 o'clock's Agents of Shield. I think this works a little bit better.
Or they have like Carter starting a little early, and then they have a little bit of crossover. But not to really dig into Well, actually, I'll mention this comment when we get to Shield spoilers. You probably know what I'm about to say. Why you wouldn't have want to have these two shows back to back.
Oh yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah. I get what you're getting at. Yeah,
yeah, but we'll talk about that in a bit. But that's probably the biggest Marvel news this week, other than of course Agents of Shield just having a random Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, which is something we've already seen. Other
yeah,
than a TV version of their bunch of a holes line.
yeah.
Which is the weird TV version of that.
What a bunch of not nice fellows.
Well, to be
Something.
fair, it was what the hell? I'm like, wait a minute, that's a really bad version of that.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? So that's pretty much it for Shield and Marvel in general this week. I mean, they've been a little quiet, mainly because they're starting to probably gear up the hype machine for Guardians.
Yeah, and we're about 2 months out from San Diego Comic Con, which is where I'm imagining we're gonna get all of our huge news.
We're gonna get a lot of huge news at Comic Con. But the thing is, though, they are gonna start hyping up Guardians. I mean, there's a few movies coming out the next couple of weeks that could very easily have a Guardians trailer thrown in there. There
Mhm.
probably is gonna be a Guardians trailer going in there. New footage, debatable, but
I
we're gonna
almost
start
don't
seeing new
want more
stuff.
footage. I almost don't want it. I might try to like shield myself from it as much as possible because I think right now, from what I've been given, I'm probably as excited as I am about this movie without knowing much about what's going to happen within it.
Well, I see. I don't really want no plot. I just want to see more Rocket.
I can kind of understand. It would be nice to hear him talk, and I
Yeah,
imagine that
we
probably.
need a trailer of like him, anybody other than Peter Quill talking.
Now, I would like to note that before anyone like puts the correction or anything, there is actual footage of him talking, but
There
it's
is.
not what.
I said there is. I was agreeing with
Oh
you.
yeah, yeah, okay. I thought you said Chris. Yeah, there's footage out there of him talking, but it's not been put into the main trailers, which makes me believe that it's not finished
Yeah,
stuff. It's not what they're trying to advertise as being what his voice might finally sound like in the movie. So they'll probably put some voice modulation or something like that on it.
correct. Like we haven't seen words coming out of Groot's mouth either. We've just heard Vin Diesel talking,
Yeah,
but we haven't seen Groot talking. So there's a few things coming down the pipe for Guardians, but now that Shield is done and they're not going to be advertising that anymore, we're going to start seeing the Guardian stuff kick up, which I felt was kind of evidenced by the final commercial break of Agents of Shield started with a Guardians trailer.
yeah. And we're at an interesting point too because now Marvel almost constantly has something they could be advertising or getting ready for between all the shows. Now the Netflix stuff's going to be coming out not soon. I mean, we still probably got about a year before
What is
that,
it?
but
Summer 2015, I think they said.
I think so, yeah. But I imagine we're going to start seeing or at least hearing some stuff about the Daredevil stuff very soon because they've
We're
got
going to
to
hear
get
a
started
cast
on.
soon.
Yeah, because they've got to get started on filming that relatively soon.
Well, since the and of course, if everyone knows, it's a Netflix series, so it's going to be released all in one go. So they have to start getting filming because they're filming an entire series.
Yeah. And the intention is that once that's done, just to immediately get started on the next one. Either Jessica Jones, I think it might be Jessica Jones. I don't know if they confirmed the order,
Yeah,
but as soon as one's done, I mean, they want to kind of keep pushing into the next one so that they can get that Defenders move or series out while they're all still relevant.
yeah, they want
So,
to strike while the iron's still hot.
so yeah, I can imagine that they're probably gonna be trying to push it out as fast as they can while taking time to take care of it. But yeah, I'll be interested to hear if we hear any cast news about that, or if they might just try to keep everything under locks as much as they can until Comic Con.
And then there's also going to be some stuff coming out about Ultron soon because that is not that far away
No, it's not at all. I mean,
for a movie
I
that
don't,
big.
I don't know if it's at the point where, well, Comic Con is about a month before San Diego or Guardians of the Galaxy comes out,
Correct. We'll
and
probably see for either first footage at Comic Con as in the person in there with a shaky camera going, yeah, it's Marvel. Um, that footage, and then that footage will then be at the end of Guardians.
that makes sense because that's what they did when they were leading into the first Avengers. Is Captain America's post-credit scene was essentially just a trailer for Avengers. So
Which makes sense to do that. And since we're
yeah,
also now in the realm of two post credit sequences, the first one will probably be the Avengers thing, and the final post credits will be specifically tied to Guardians, or spoiler alert, probably Thanos.
I don't know. I don't think Thanos is going to be in that movie at all. I
He
don't think
is.
this.
They've said he
I don't.
is.
I don't think it's going to be his realm of things.
Well, no, that's what I'm
I think
saying. The
that doesn't.
final post credit scene is probably going to involve Thanos.
In the space, I mean, come on. We all know Thanos is a very local character.
Okay, okay. He likes to hang out on the moon.
I imagine
Fine.
I imagine we may see him at a shawarma bar also ordering shawarma.
That would be the greatest thing ever. It's just
But like
him.
it's him alone and he's just sadly eating shawarma
Brum,
like oh,
brum, brum. I do
what
need to pick
did
up
pick up on.
I do need to pick up a shawarma shirt before I see Avengers 2. I pretty much need to get that.
I've never
But
had shawarma,
I don't. It's like a falafel, isn't it?
I guess.
I don't know. But so that's it for Marvel. DC had some stuff happen this week.
Yeah, a little bit of stuff came out. Zack Snyder teased that there was going to be a reveal coming out, and he did post up a picture of what is going to be the new Batmobile. Presumably,
We saw the back end, and then we saw the
yes,
front.
and with a little bit of a silhouette of what we may be seeing as our Batman as well.
Yeah, who's very heavily inspired by the Dark Knight Returns version of Bats. So he's a little beefier. He's got a gigantic fucking back symbol on his chest. He's got the really short ears, which is very reminiscent of the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns. Sure is Batman.
Well, what's kind of cool is he does have a different look than the other Batmans that we've seen in the cinema version. This is the first one I've kind of seen that really. I mean, it's tough to tell exactly what the color scheme is going to be because it's just in a horribly, dark black shading. But it kind of looks like it's going to get a little bit into that dark black gray kind of style, which is
Which
kind of
is
cool.
which is what the Frank Miller version is, that he has the arm pieces and whatnot are all black, but the chest and all like the webbing, what would be called the webbing, is black.
Yeah,
So it's gray with accentuated black parts. So instead of the black with black that the Nolan one was.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to be a unique look in terms of what we've seen in Batman cinematic universe. I'm not like insanely blown away by it necessarily, but the Batmobile itself looks very cool, I think.
I think the design aesthetic of it, I see. I don't know exactly what they're going for, because the reason I'm saying that is comparing. The only thing that we've seen from this universe is Man of Steel.
Yes.
So I have no idea what their tech really looks like. So this is the first time I've seen what this universe's version of their aesthetics are going to look like. So this is like the first taste of like, oh, this is how the Batmobile is going to be formed. So that's going to like influence in my head what everything else is going to look like. So it looks like they're leaning more towards comic book versions, which is making me wonder what like Wonder Woman's going to look like, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm looking at the Batmobile going, it almost looks like a giant go kart ish.
Yeah, a little bit. It looks like what kind of a fusion of the recent Tumbler
The
from the
Tumbler and the
Nolan
Batmobile.
trilogies. Yeah, and then kind of a little bit of an elongated, sleek kind of one. I prefer the sleek a little bit better, but I
Mm-hmm.
can understand why they're going with the Tumbler kind of design a little bit
You
more,
want to
just
bring back the
because.
iconography of the movies that made the billions of dollars.
Yeah, proven success. Let's go with that one a little bit more. So,
Correct. The
I mean,
reason
there's
why I
there's
call it a
still
go kart is
definitely.
the reason why I call it a go kart is because of that big plastic piece on top, which is what the sleek part of it is.
Yeah, and I mean, there's still definitely style to this that's individual to itself.
Yeah,
So, I mean, that's good in that regard.
but my biggest problem is my God, Zack Snyder, do you really have to take a black and white picture? What are you in fucking art school? Dear fucking God. And also, spoiler alert: if you're going to be shooting a thing in black and white, you have to light it for black and white. That thing looked like ass.
I think it'd be interesting if this is essentially what he's saying the Batman stuff's going to look like. Anytime Batman's on screen, it's just going to be really like black and white with him always hanging his head down low.
Could you hear me rolling my eyes?
I can hear you dying inside a little bit.
Because it looked like so art school 101 to me. I'm like, dear God, man, it really does look like you took like a color photography shot and made it grayscale.
Like he just went to fucking. I can't
Like a
remember the phone app.
or yeah, toss like an Instagram and like, here's the black and
It's
white filter.
Yeah, he threw an Instagram filter on top of it. And it was just like, I'm a visual genius.
And you know what? I mean, if you're doing that for your reel to make it darker, that's cool. But you want to know what? It looks like shit when you shoot it like that. I really hate it when someone shoots black and white that way, because you're supposed to light black and white differently because of the way light reflects off of it. Sorry, snobbery, can't help it.
You're right.
No, I'm not. I'm dead inside.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it for DC.
Yeah, I mean, there is one small little bit of news, not related to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but still within Marvel as well. Some casting news came out that Channing
Oh
Tatum
my
is going to
god.
be playing Gambit in the new X-Men movies. So,
Because Gambit hasn't been fucked over enough.
I'm not like super negative on it. I've seen enough of Channing Tatum to be like, he's okay. I mean, I don't necessarily think him and then immediately like, oh, well, that's Gambit. I mean, Gambit, I always kind of think more sleek, kind of lean, tall, like
Because I hear a very thick
southern.
southern drawl out of
Yeah, I was
Channing
like,
Tatum.
I don't sense that in Channing Tatum, but Channing Tatum, I mean, he's never been anything I've been like, well, this guy sucks. So, I mean, it would be like saying Liam Neeson be cast as Beast. I'd be like, those two don't add up, but I like Liam Neeson enough that I'm not going to be cynical on it. So, it remains to be seen how that's going to go. I think everything is going to depend on how Days of Future Past is. If
Yeah.
Days of Future Past sucks, which I worry it
Early
does,
buzz is saying that it's really good.
I hope so. I mean, I do, but
I do too. I like
it,
that book.
yeah, I like the X Men characters. I hope that they all kind of get their good send offs as we usher ourselves into a new kind of world. I
Eh,
really want Matt Vaughn back directing because he's much better. But
Other than the fact that we're getting a sequel to this movie with most of the same cast again.
I know, but I want.
Send off, indeed.
Well, this is the send off for the old characters.
I don't know how much. I don't. Hmm.
I'm saying this right now. This is a send off for the Patrick Stewart, the Ian McKellen, like those characters. This is them rewriting that universe that those characters still exist, but they have an alternate timeline now that they can now play with. So they have all those characters open to them again for recast and everything like that.
Yeah, so I don't know how that's going to end up playing out with Age of Apocalypse, which is a really weird follow up to Days of Future Past. But when that movie comes out, we'll eventually talk about that, which is next week.
Yeah, not too far away.
Not that far away. So we'll talk about Days of Future Past when. Well, actually, it'll be 2 weeks from now because we can't
Yeah,
talk
because
about it next week.
Godzilla's this week, and then the week
Yes.
after that's Days of
I
Future
see it
Past.
because the thing I'm thinking of is this comes out on Friday, so blah blah blah. And Friday's Godzilla. Next Friday's Days of Future Past, so we're not gonna be talking about it till the week after it comes out.
Yeah,
So yay us. But yeah, so that is pretty much it for the news kind of thing that's been happening in the past week. That's been going on, and to be honest, other than the big Marvel news, that's kind of it. Nothing really big. I mean, we got a ish shot of Batman, which we're not going to see a lot of until they shot for a few more weeks. But
I I get this is just a random topic then.
sure.
Uh, Stanley. We
Mm-hmm.
know that he's going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's not going to be in the X Men movie though.
No, he's
Uh,
not.
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be in the new X Men movie. I
Oh,
don't
that's
think he's got a
sad.
cameo in that. I don't know. There's something weird, I guess, with the way the X Men movies work. So he doesn't always cameo in them.
He was
But
in Last Stand, if I remember correctly.
he was in Last Stand, but he wasn't in First Class. I don't believe. And
He was.
I don't recall him being in the Wolverine.
I'll have to look up. Like, there's probably a Wikipedia page of Stanley cameos.
But
It's the internet. There has to be.
I believe there actually is. But do you like him in those movies?
Of
Because I
course I
know
do.
we have a mutual friend Randy who he always says that it takes him out of the immersion of a film when he sees Stan Lee.
Oh please.
I can actually see where his stance is
I
on
can see where he's coming with that is, but you know, want to know what it does to me?
what.
It makes me remember the fact that I'm enjoying something that man probably helped create. And the fact is that he's been a staple of every single fucking movie, pretty much. And the point is, when I don't see him now, I notice not seeing him.
Well, now you're on like a weird track of like unimmersion via
Yeah, where it's like
immersion.
when Stan Lee doesn't pop up, I'm like,
You're just like
what?
that wasn't
What, were you too
accomplished.
good for Stan Lee? But I think it also has to do with the fact that Stan Lee's kind of awesome.
He seems like a very cool guy at this point.
And the fact that he's like, what, 90 and he's still
Yeah,
doing
and
stuff?
he's just like fuck it, I'll do whatever.
I don't care. And I mean, he's had some great parts in the past, and as his cameos in the movies. I think off the top of my head, my two favorite ones were Incredible Hulk, where he drinks the soda,
Oh yeah,
and Iron Man 2, where Stark thinks he's Hugh Hefner.
I was trying to remember which one that was that
That was Iron
he
Man 2.
mistakes him as Hugh Hefner. That's a good
He's
one.
like, "Hey, awesome Hef." He's like, "What?" And the one like in Dark World, that one was okay.
He was in the insane asylum in that one,
Yeah, and
right?
he's like, "That's crazy."
I like the Avengers just because it held it almost to the very end. When superheroes in New York, forget about it.
That's crazy talk. What was I can't remember the captain one now.
See. I feel like I'm forgetting it, but I thought doesn't he meet him in the Smithsonian, and he's kind of
Yes.
like waxing philosophic about heroes with him.
Yes, he was. That one was a little too on the nose.
I like
Oh
that
no, no,
one.
he was the janitor. He's like,
Oh,
"Oh, I'm gonna get fired."
well, no, I'm thinking of the first Captain America.
That's right. That's right.
See, I liked him in that one. I don't know. I like it a little bit more when he kind of has like a moment to like
And they
speak
give him
of
like a
it.
punchline, or I like the punchline version of him where he gets to make a joke
Yeah, okay.
because it allows to bring a little levity to it, and it's still Stan Lee. But no, I really like the Stan Lee cameos, and as long as they do them in an interesting way, like another interesting version of that was the Spider-Man 2 one where he's there for a second, he's just pulling somebody away from rubble, where he's just saving somebody's life,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
He's
it.
a hero.
Yeah, for like a fraction of a second, and you're like, oh, Stan Lee, and he's gone.
Yeah.
Whoosh, like the wind, the Stan Lee is.
Do you believe he's the Watcher, like everyone thinks?
Yes.
That'd be so weird.
But yeah, I'm always down for Stan.
Okay. I wanted to pose it, wanted to get a thought on that, and I suppose the audience can also express their feelings on it if they're fans of the Stan Lee cameos or not. I'm assuming most people are. Again, I don't have a problem with that. I just know there are some people who, and it's not just Randy. I've heard it from other people too who have said that it kind of hurts their immersion in the
Oh,
film.
it'll be really cool.
What's that?
What if he was the voice of the computer, their computer in their ship of Guardians?
That'd be pretty cool.
That
I
would be
don't think
cool.
he is though. I think he's announced what it is.
Okay, that was just a cool idea in my head. Like, oh, imagine if he was that.
Well, cool ideas have been like the build to everything I've heard revolving theories on Agents of Shield right now. Thus far, none of them have been correct, but
I
everyone
know.
is
I'm actually a lot happier that I was wrong than if I was actually right. But so we'll do one final thing before we jump into Shield. You finished watching the first season of Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and
yes.
I didn't think we were gonna get that far, so I watched like 6 episodes.
Yeah, no, I was. I think I was like on
You're
the
right
episode
before
with the
Gamma
Panther.
World.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was just at the episode where the Panther had joined the team, and then like I forget, like Sunday, I was just like, I have nothing to fucking do, so I just sat and watched the rest of the season, and it's really good. I mean, it helps that the series really pulls you into it. It kind of gets you in that point. You're like, I have to see the next episode. I have to see the next episode.
What? What? I gotta see next.
I mean, like, there's points where I'm like, I could definitely stop here. I could stop here. I like an arc's just ended. I could stop here, but then I see like the episode description on Netflix where it's just like Kang the Conqueror comes through. I'm like, I want to see Kang the Conqueror. So then I watch that, and then I'm like, well, I have to finish this arc, and then I finish that, and I'm like, look, I'm just gonna watch 3 more hours of this. So I got through all of that, and it's really good. I really am impressed with it. It's one of the few times that a Marvel animated show has given me feelings that stands not necessarily on the same level, but near that same level as some of the best DC animated shows have.
It's
Really,
close.
yeah. It really. Here's the thing, like, at the start, this is in a similar vein to Shield, where I think the series has a lot of slow problems early on, especially if you watch it via Netflix, where your first episodes are the standalone hero pieces.
Yeah.
It has some slow build that takes a while to kind of get over. But once it does get moving and the Avengers team starts getting flushed out, it has some really cool moments. And the cuts and animation stuff like that, I stop noticing so much, and I just get into the action because there are episodes that are almost from beginning to end just nonstop superhero action. If that's something you're interested in, it's great. I mean, there's great characterization into it. The
There's some great character
villains,
moments in the show.
there's a moment. I don't know if I should say it because it is technically a spoiler, not necessarily for anything big within the series, but I don't know if people want to see it. So I guess if you're really into Agents of or seeing Earth's Mightiest Heroes fresh, just skip ahead like 20 seconds. But it's when Captain America's with the Hulk, and Hulk's doing his whole monster speech, and Cap's like, you know what I see when I see you? He's like, what? A hero. And Hulk's, you just see his fucking heart just melt.
Mm-hmm.
So excited. He does. He becomes a hero. It's a very cool moment. And stuff like that are things I really enjoy in those kinds of things.
One of my favorite little moments throughout the series is when you have the slow transition from Iron Man leading the team to Cap pretty much leading it.
Yeah, I mean, they never outright give control of it over to Captain America, at least at the point I'm at.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, he's definitely, if not like a secondary leader, he's definitely like, you could definitely see why he has all the leadership's qualities in him because he never turns his back on anybody. You know, he's always looking to help out his fellow teammates. Captain America in that series is like one of the best versions of him I've seen. He's just so cool. It's such a badass. They almost never make him like get absolutely spanked. He's almost always kicking ass.
And whenever he is down, there's a reason for him to be down. And I
Yeah.
like the fact that they do it that way. And I like the fact that they really do go into why, like, Pym's kind of a dork. Because he is. And I like that they do that. And I also like the fact that they kind of chip away at Tony Stark being a douche.
And like the Pym stuff. I mean, Pym's one of those characters you kind of have to endure for a little bit because at the start he's just boring as shit, and then he starts to get a little bit annoying. But he starts to really kind of meld together to the point where I'm like, I'm kind of glad that this isn't the version they're going to be going with in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if only because I think this version would be hard to relate to audiences in that cool way like a Tony Stark does. But I still am a little bit sad we're not going to get to see this like very pacifistic, uh, moral, uh, very idealistic Hank Pym necessarily in the Marvel
That is
universe.
then thrust into having to challenge his own ideals.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely. You see the conflict he's in this. The entire Ultron bit is a great look into his character and
Mm-hmm.
where his ideals are getting him to, and it's great stuff there. I'm excited that we're going to get Scott Lang because I think he's going to be more marketable
Yeah.
than Hank Pym is, but it is a little bit disappointed. A character who's got that unique spot in the Marvel universe necessarily won't be seen in the full way
Because
either.
I kind of agree. I think Pym works better in a serialized format than a 2 hour movie.
Yeah,
I don't think they can really give him the arc that he needs in a 2.5 hour long movie.
and I mean they could still have him in there. Hank Pym's still going to
He is
be
going to be in
in
there,
it.
but they're not going
Plus,
to be able to have that great arc that he needs to have to be a super interesting character.
yeah, I mean,
Main
plus
character,
we
sorry.
were we were just talking about Agent Carter. There's a possibility that Hank Pym in some form may show up in that because he's basically supposed to be an old man in the
Mm-hmm.
current canon. So there's nothing saying there the young version of Hank Pym couldn't exist in Agent Carter.
True that. But let's talk about one thing that we actually do need to talk about with Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Okay.
So now how happy or how excited are you about Avengers tier villains?
There's definitely some really cool potential in there, and I'm really excited. Of all the people, I never thought I'd be excited about Kang the Conqueror being in a movie as much as I am because
He's an awesome villain.
he's got such a great motivation to it that's just going to be really cool if they take it to the screen that way. I kind of hope they change him up a little bit because even in the show he looks kind of dorky,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like that motivation in there, I'm trying to save the world and to do it, I need to conquer it, and I've got technology just so batshit evolved from yours that you can't do anything to stop me.
And they
Uh,
kind of win by luck.
yeah, I mean that stuff's great.
Oh,
And
and
it's really there's an epic feeling going into that. I always love a series when there's a team and you can tell the different parts of the team that all have to function together to make this work. Thor has to go out and take the blast from the shield so that he gets knocked out of the fight there, but the team keeps going on. And Iron Man and Wasp have to go out to blast defenders as the rest of the team crashes into the ship, and they're trying to get in as the rest of the team's fighting through. I love that kind of stuff where you can see these different components all working around the same world, the same event, but in their different areas. I love that kind of stuff because it builds tension just so well. And just it was just a lot of fun. I mean, that's the sort of stuff that once you got to that final conclusion, the final battle, it's just so entertaining, so much fun. Cool characterization there about this is all Captain America's fault, and this teaser of like Captain America is going to undo your world and things of that nature. So really cool stuff there.
mm-hmm. And then it got you super pumped for Ultron.
Ultron was great. I mean, seeing him in this makes me see how they're going to do it in this in the upcoming movie, and I'm really excited to see how they kind of get it across.
I love that he's just super ruthless. And
Very much so.
I love that. I love the slow buildup of Ultron, where he's slowly in there, and they're building him and building him and building him. Then he has this big two-parter, and I just love I love his precision of taking out the Avengers. Like Hulk first, he's bad. Then Thor, he's bad. Then I could deal with everybody else. And I love his ruthless precision, and I love the fact that he's like 3 steps ahead of everybody this entire time, and he just barely loses.
Yeah. I mean, they don't beat him so much as they make him beat himself.
Correct. And I love that. And that's also why in some of the comics, he wins. Because you could easily see Ultron winning.
Yeah, I mean, there's a point where you're just like, this dude is ridiculously powerful.
hmm And I think that the best part is, and they're really going to convey it in the movie, is I love the coldness in his voice.
That's what made me excited when I watch it. I'm just like, James Spader can really fucking kill these moments. I feel like with just like an insidiousness to the voice, but very droll, very cold, almost a little bit reminiscent of like Mr. Freeze from the Batman animated series. Just
Yeah.
like feels like there's not much emotion to the voice, but there's so much.
There's stuff under the surface.
There's like a very sinister undertone to it. And I feel like James Spader is gonna be really good at getting that across.
But yeah, that's why the moment that they said, by the way, it's Age of Ultron, I went, oh my God. That's why Joss Whedon, right after he made Avengers, said, I wanted to make the second movie very personal, and I want to make all of them hurt. And that's exactly what he's gonna do with Ultron.
Oh, you can see. I mean, Ultron is essentially the fault of the heroes who make them. So this is going to be a
He's
very
walking
different.
Skynet.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to place the Avengers. I mean, look, they were the heroes in the first movie because they stopped an alien invasion. This one, they're going to be stopping a villain that's ultimately of their own creation.
Yup, and I'm really excited to see what their setup for bringing about Ultron is going to be. And just Ultron's a great villain, and I'm actually really glad that we're going to start seeing more of Ultron because he is probably in my top tier of villains. Because that's when people were talking about Avengers tier villains, because you have to have a villain that can challenge a team,
Mhm.
and that's exactly what Ultron can very easily be. Is
Especially after we saw what he can do in that series in terms of taking control of Tony Stark's armors. And what we know Tony Stark's currently just doing nonstop is building these armors. Not necessarily, may not be doing as much now, but
hmm
we saw from obviously Operation House Party that he has a crap ton of those to work with. So if this Ultron could do essentially the same thing, which we're led to believe is probably the case since we've seen concept arc of
of the
Hulk
Hulkbuster.
fighting the Hulkbuster, that's probably where we're going to be going as well. And that should be just an awesome, awesome fight scene if that's what happens.
And I do have to say, one of my favorite moments in that episode was when the Hulkbuster armor showed up, and they're like, "Oh crap!"
That Hulkbuster armor was pretty fucking pimp too.
Yes, but yeah, that's Earth Mightiest Heroes in a nutshell. The first season is awesome. It really exemplifies really good like comic book television where you're able to do awesome big arcs. The finale being 3 episodes long is great, with their whole taking back Asgard from Loki. Just so good. And then
Very
they
good
kind of
stuff.
dropped the ball in the second season.
I hear that. I'm still going to watch the second season
Well,
though.
I'm
So,
gonna start watching it too.
so
Um,
I'll be able to report back on that. Probably won't be this week. It'll probably be like a week or two after this.
yeah, so we'll both watch that, and since I'm watching it with fresh eyes, because I watched the first 2 or so episodes of that, and we'll see how that one goes. So that's it for Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the first season. Highly recommend you watch that first season. It does take a little bit to get going, but like once you hit Gamma World, shit gets real.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, you left Hulk in the pool froze. One of my favorite parts of the series.
I do like that line.
So, the one final thing that we're going to talk about now is Shield.
Mm-hmm.
So, the beginning of the end or the end of the beginning, whatever it's actually called, whatever Smashing Pumpkin song it's actually referencing.
Well, is that what it was called this week?
It was
I
either
don't
the
think.
beginning of the end or the end of the beginning.
Beginning of the end of it. You're
Okay.
right.
So, yeah, that sure was an awesome finale.
Well, we got a lot of big stuff. There's still obviously the biggest mystery kind of hanging over our heads of what the fuck Sky is, but we still even got a little bit more of a clue into that.
Mm-hmm.
And we finally found out the biggest news we were kind of waiting for. What the fuck's going to happen with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now that S.H.I.E.L.D.'s gone? And we found out that S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to try to rebuild itself, maybe not necessarily as S.H.I.E.L.D., but as some form of organization that will have Agent Coulson actually as Director Coulson.
Which is
He is
interesting.
he is going to be leading the rebuilding of S.H.I.E.L.D. in as pure and as idealistic as a way as Agent Coulson is able to deliver. He's going to have the help of his team, what's left of it,
And
and
Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt, who's not well, Patton Oswalt, who is playing a new character, Bill Kading, who presumably is the twin, I guess, of
Which
the
I don't
other
know about
agent.
you, but I had the biggest smile when he showed up again. I'm like, yes.
When you hear his voice, and it's like the same fucking character too. He's still just like, let's go get you a lanyard. You're
And I'm
just like,
like, it might be just because I loved his character.
oh, and Patton Oswalt's just so fucking
And
fun.
you could tell he had a lot of fun playing that character.
Oh yeah, I mean the dude. Look, Patton Oswalt's one of those guys that I feel like doesn't necessarily sign up for a whole lot of crap. So I feel like there's something he's so excited about, and when you get something like that, you just tell they're gonna have so much fun doing it, and that comes across on the screen. So I feel like Patton Oswalt for him is just great. That he gets to like embrace this comic book world and be goofy, and he's the wacky fat character in it. And it's
He could be our comic relief character, and that's fine.
and that's cool that he's now, because he's alive in this, he can actually be not necessarily, I don't know if he'll be a permanent character in the show, but a reoccurring character at the very
He
least.
could easily be recurring. He could be like the guy at the base telling them stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we have a new base of operations for the series. The bus is essentially it's still there, but I don't know if they're going to keep using it. They now have a new base of operations, the playground to work with, and there's a new little box just called the toolbox that uh, Fury gave to Coulson and says, you
Mm-hmm.
know, use this as you need to. So, very curious to see what happens there.
We,
Ward is in jail, or
which I loved how they ended that.
yeah, didn't redeem him. They give
Nope.
him the business and they're putting him away. I mean, it still opens up the opportunity for him to come back into the show as a villain.
Which I kind of hope they do because there's nothing better than the fallen hero as a villain.
Yeah, so I imagine they can do something with that. And then the sad end to Bill Paxton as Garrett. He gets his first like defeat, and you're like, well, that's that. Then you see like this big long sequence of him getting up and reviving himself and suiting up armor and being like, and now I will take over. Just fucking
Guys, I found it.
I love how casually he does that too.
Totally a Joss Whedon scene. I love that to death, and the fact that you got the build up. Of, oh, they're gonna bring back him in the next season as another villain. I was half expecting him to call himself something,
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. I was like, oh, who are they setting him up to be?
and he just blows up.
There was a small moment there. I was like, oh, because his fucking arms are all fucked up. What if he puts the armor on him and he's like, now that I'm all wacky, I'm gonna be the MODOK of this series. And I was
That
like,
would be awesome. Bill Paxton MODOK.
well, I was just sitting there. I was like, you know, fucking Bill Paxton has been constantly fucking like when he was originally announced for the series, like he's gonna be in 4 episodes, and then they just keep going. You're just like, those fuckers, is this dude gonna be in more than one season on top of already being past those 4 episodes? But then obviously the big twist that he's dead
Murdered.
as shit. He's dead as fuck now.
And I love the fact that they quell that so that you have they set up what's probably going to be a villain for the next season in the end of the episode, which I'd like that. And they also well not really villain but conflict for the next season, and they
Yeah.
quelch the idea of Bill Paxton coming back, which is a good idea.
And when you think about it, Bill Paxton was a great villain for this season as they're responding to the threat of Hydra
He
emerging.
represents their fears.
Yeah, and he also though, but he doesn't represent Hydra as a whole. So Hydra's still a huge villain out there for them to defeat, but he doesn't represent it. It wasn't like they took down Baron Strucker or something like
And
that.
as he mentioned, he wasn't a true believer.
No, he was just a guy who worked with them because they were the better opportunist for him.
Yes.
So, you know, he's still out there. Well, he's not there, but, you know, Hydra's still out there. Raina's still out there.
Mm-hmm.
Gravitron's still out there.
Graviton.
Sorry. Someone else is still out there, too. I can't remember.
Deathlock is still out there now, but he's also
Deathlock.
an anti-hero now.
Yeah, he's not a villain person.
That was so good.
That was good. And there's one other scene I really liked, and it was with Fitz and Simmons
Mm-hmm.
in the cell. And they had their discussion about death and what they think happens in the afterlife. And it was just really solid writing between the characters. And I really well acted. Great moments between them. I really dug that stuff.
Yeah, and my favorite thing that this did was it did just enough wrapping up and setting up that it needed to do so that you can have a solid entry into a second season without having too many things that the viewer may not have to have seen the first season to watch. I mean, the only thing that they really need to see is Deathlock. That's going to be the only thing that's a little confusing for the second season. But it can just be like, oh, I was captured by bad guys, made evil. Now I'm good.
Yeah. And he's like, I've been constantly trying to fight against it, but couldn't, or else they'd blow my fucking head off.
Yeah, and I loved the rage in his face the moment he just turned and looked at Bill Paxton.
Oh, there's a lot of fucking comeuppance in that moment.
Yes. That was a really good shot. I also really did like the comedy between the playing off between Coulson and Fury was phenomenal.
Fury was so excellent in this episode, and it was so weird because I really thought when they were like Samuel Jackson's in the episode that he'd show up at the very end, and be like Secret Avengers, y'all, and then fucking leave.
Like be
But no,
like he's on a screen going, yeah, you guys are now the Secret Avengers. Turns like he kills the feed and that's it.
like he's flying by in a helicopter, like y'all be the Secret Avengers.
I left the folder in your I left the folder in your desk.
Patton Oswalt's still alive.
By the way.
Beach Dubs. So I like that. He's in the episode a lot. He has this great moment where he saves Fitzsimmons and has this moment where he's almost like a Jesus figure. He just arrives out of nowhere with his hand extended to save everybody.
And she's like, how the hell did you find us? And he's like, you set out a beacon.
Yeah, I'm the only person still listening to Shield Beacons at this point. So I really liked that stuff. I thought all that was really well done. I liked. There's also a cool moment where Ward's facing down with Skye, and I can't remember the exact way the line goes, but he's just like, "Oh, it's just like I have a weapon. I could be very effective against you." He's like, "No weapon can hurt me." She's like, "Oh, this one can," because you slept with her, and she's really pissed. And just all of a sudden, May from nowhere just like clotheslines him.
I love the fact that she just barely said pissed, and it just cuts to her punching him in the face.
It's just like, whoop.
It's like that's as good enough a lead in. My only qualm about that fight scene was a little dark. It was shot a little dark, and it was a little tough to see what was going on. But I just chalked it up to TV fight scene.
Yeah, and I mean, I wasn't. I don't really look to TV to be kind of like the go-to for that stuff when it comes to like fight scenes and stuff like that. They just generally don't have the budget for it. So
I agree with that, but that was just my little nitpick. I'm like, it's not bright enough for my taste. I wish it was a little brighter. And there was one shot, I think, when they threw one of them through the numerous walls that they went through, where it was brighter. I'm like, oh, I can see things. Oh, it's dark again. Damn it.
yeah,
So, but that's my eye for cinematography, and I was just kind of going, it'd be nice if this was a little brighter, and that's about it. But I mean, I liked the end of that, where she fucking nail guns his foot to the floor, then fucking punches him in the throat.
oh yeah, it's fucking harsh.
I think I broke his larynx. I love that. He's like,
And
oh,
then,
huh.
and then the biggest thing that we kind of got right now off of all this, or the big kind of tease going into the next season, is that we now know who Sky's. Well, we don't know who she is, but
We know that his father's still alive.
Yeah, we know that Sky's father is there, and he's some dude who like is fucking constantly bleeding. Now,
From his hands.
no one, we can't really know what that is. I don't know enough about the Marvel universe.
He's hand bleeder.
Yeah, I don't know if this is like a character, like I'm Mr. Handy Blood.
This is probably one of those things that I'm either going to be really pissed when I find out about. I'm like, oh, that's going to be really cool. There's probably no middle ground. So it'll probably take a day for that kind of shit to hit. But I was just watching that and going, well, that sure was a character that I don't know.
It is interesting because they continue to play into this notion that Sky's parents are monsters. I mean, that fucking looks like a monster. Dude's hands just like ejecting blood from it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could just be he got into a fight or something like that, but I think it'd be cool if this is a dude who has, like, cuts all over him, just constantly bleeding shit.
He can't heal.
So.
He's the anti-Wolverine.
He's like, I just never heal wounds. This is a paper cut from 6 years ago.
Na-na-na-na-na.
Fear me.
I'm AIDS, man. But, yeah, so it was an incredibly solid episode. The only nitpicks that I have with it was that it wasn't longer.
That's a complaint you can have about just about anything Marvel at this point.
And then serious complaints about it. The whole APC thing, I think it's just like TV budget to me. I'm like, oh, that sure is happening.
Yeah. There was that. I mean, I'm one of those sticklers. I don't know why, but I always get really kind of bummed out when too many things seem to work out for the heroes,
Mm-hmm.
which felt like it happened here. I don't think it would have minded too much if it weren't for then, hey, Patton Oswalt's character is still alive, even if it's a slightly different one. I don't have a problem with it. I like that Patton Oswalt's character is still there, but it does take away a little bit from the series of consequences, things like that, when it's just like he's dead, but his brother's still alive, and they can still do stuff with that to make that better. And I'm
But
not blaming the series on that. It's just my personal thing.
but speaking of consequences, we don't know what's wrong with Fitz at this point,
No, I mean we'll have to see what happens from that.
which is
Uh,
interesting because the moment that they leave the thing and he's floating, we don't see him again.
mhm.
So who knows? Who knows with Fitz there, which is kind
he's
of
gonna
interesting.
he's gonna become Namor.
Oh my God, he's MODOK.
It fucking fits his Modoc. Everyone's Modoc.
Welcome to Agents of MODOK.
Oh, God, that'd be great.
Um, I wish somebody would make a parody show of Agents of MODOK. It would be the greatest show, and you know it.
Probably.
It'd be better than the Blacktastic Four. Let's be honest.
Hey, all right. Look, there's like 2 Wire actors in that show already, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Okay, okay.
I'm kind of hoping it's just gonna be a Wire reunion. Like Stringer Bell will be Doctor Doom. Fucking Avon will turn out to be well, he's like a side character in Fantastic Four.
Any of them, I don't fucking know.
I don't know. He'll be She-Hulk or something.
She's their lawyer.
Yeah, I just want every character from The Wire to show up in this now.
I still
I got
say,
Wallace and Norman in there.
I still would love a She-Hulk based, like, crime show where it's like Law and Order but with She-Hulk.
That would be an interesting one to see if they make another TV series out of. Like if this works out well enough for them for a while, and they're just like, what's like we don't have a cop show, like we don't have like a law drama like a Law and Order. So
And well, she would definitely represent the Order.
yeah, we're gonna have Law and Order. She's gonna be part of a legal team, but instead of just catching pedophiles, she hunts them down and beats them up, and then takes them to court.
And she is just like the Hulk version of Daredevil.
Yeah.
And you know what? Some of the I really need to read my She-Hulk because I really haven't. But I always love the fact that she's just a lawyer. That's what she does. She's a green lawyer.
And she doesn't hide her identity either, does she?
No, she's green and she's a lawyer.
Now there's she's in one of the Agents of Smash. Is that like a show that's currently running?
Yes, with the only character who's kind of the same from the two different Avengers shows.
Okay.
The same actor, Fred Tescator, who plays the Hulk in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, then moved on to Avengers Assembled, and then is now in Agents of Smash.
Is Agents of Smash any good?
I haven't watched Smash because I can't watch it right now.
Oh.
It's still in its first season, that's why.
Makes sense.
So I'll probably start digging up into that stuff and figuring out if the other once we're done with Earth's Mightiest Heroes, I'll start looking into these other shows.
And it's worth noting in things of future episodes. We're eventually soon going to have to we don't have to, but might not be a bad idea to go through the Marvel Cinematic Universe movie by movie and kind of do like a review a week episode.
You will be doing that. I'm kind of thinking that we'll probably do that in between Guardians and Avengers Dose.
Okay.
Which would probably be a good lead up to Avengers 2, wouldn't it?
Probably would be.
Mm-hmm. I think of things.
Well,
So,
just the smartest.
So, since the last time that we've talked, you've read a page or two of Guardians.
Yes, I've read 11 pages of the Guardians of the Galaxy comic book. I'm going to read more, I swear. I'm just busy with some other stuff right now in terms of getting other podcasts set up. So I'm going to try to get through that probably this week. And hopefully by next week I'll be able to talk a little bit about that comic as we're kind of leading ourselves into it.
But those 11 pages.
Yeah, those 11 pages have been glorious. I now know who Gamora and Adam Warlock are.
Yeah, and you kind of see why I'm saying that trailer's the book.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. It's definitely kind of cool action to it. I'm trying to think of the right term for it, like a stylized action.
Yeah, and it's snarky and whatnot. And
very snarky, yeah,
very snarky. So when everyone's saying, Guardians looks like it's trying to be too funny. No,
it does. I don't get that vibe from it. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World felt like it was trying too hard to be funny. This feels like a series that just has a sense of humor to its tone.
And characters, it's almost like characters who know that they're in this kind of a universe, and they're like, really?
It's not like breaking the fourth wall, but it's somewhat self-aware of itself. Like that's what I kind of like about it.
Yeah, it does a decent job of that. But uh comic recommendation this week, I've been through like 6 of them, like
Have
in my head, because I was
oh
like,
really?
oh, I could do this one. Then I look, oh, it's not available anywhere. Awesome. Oh, we could do this one. No, that'd be really good when we do the movies. Oh, this one. Well, we can't really do Days of Future Past because you haven't read it before and you probably wouldn't want to read it before you see the movie,
Mhm.
which I think we probably want to read that after we see the movie.
Probably. Probably.
So this week, I came up with an interesting idea.
Okay.
I'm going to recommend, because it's actually easily available to get, which was my first requirement, was the first trade of the first run of Secret Avengers, which it's called Secret Avengers #1, Agents of Nothing. Nick Fury's Agents of Nothing. It's from 2010. I believe the trade is listed at 2011 because they relaunched Secret Avengers in last year with Marvel Now.
Okay.
So that's why there's 2 #1s in trades. So it's the one that's called Nick Fury's Agents of Nothing, if memory serves. Because I might be
Trying
thinking
to
of Secret Warriors.
trying to see here. Agents, Secret Avengers.
Let me just look on Amazon here because that's where I found it.
Okay. You might just need to give me
Ah,
the name of the book.
that's it. I
The
thought it
the
was Agents
image
of
of,
Nothing.
or the image of the book rather. Because I go through Comixology just to get that on there.
I was wrong. Damn
What
it.
is it?
It's called Secret Avengers Volume 1 Mission to Mars.
Mission to Mars. Let's see, what did I have here? I have. I might be looking at the wrong one
It's on
then.
your Skype.
I see it. Yes, this was a bit of a. Ooh, Brubaker's on it. Brubaker's great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no,
Well,
this is right. Okay, Secret Avengers. Oh, okay, because I was looking at the wrong. It's
look at the Marvel
co-
Now one.
no, Comixology is weird in the way it collects them. I guess I don't know. Anyway, yeah, you can find this Secret Avengers Volume One Mission to Mars. You can find this on Comixology, $8.99. You just need to find it's the first option there. It's just the third book for some reason. The first one's like the Secret Avengers run the mission, don't get seen, save the world. I don't even know what the fuck it is, but it does get in there. Secret Avengers Volume One and Volumes Two, Three, they're all there. So you can go check that out then.
The Kindle version of it on Amazon is $7.55 for the
There you
first
go.
5 issues. The paperback, which says one in stock from Amazon, and it's $15.82. I've actually not read this. I was gonna say like, hey, we might be getting a rebranded version of Agents of Shield, but we're obviously not now. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm probably gonna read this because I haven't read it yet, and I wanted to kind of see this. And you may notice something very particular about that cover there, Chris, about a certain Captain America.
He is wearing the outfit that we see when he was heavily involved with Shield. So he
Mm-hmm.
loses some of the stars and stripes and becomes a little bit more of a sign of Shield itself.
That is the Commander Rogers uniform, I believe is what that's called.
And who is that there? It's Beast, War Machine. Who's the girl on the back?
I what is there? We've also got Sharon Carter in there, Valkyrie, and Moon Knight, Ant-Man, and Nova.
Who's the blonde in the back?
Blonde in the back. Does she look like she's doing anything?
She's just kind of got. She kind of looks like she's got Thor's hair.
That's is that Valkyrie? I'll say that's Valkyrie.
Is that just like the female Thor character?
No, yeah, that's who
Okay.
Valkyrie is.
She's just like I'm Thor, but with a vagina.
What was his
What?
daughter's name actually? Hmm.
Can I pose a question to you
Sure.
with your knowledge? Who or what is Moon Knight?
Um, one of those kind of guys who just kind of pops in. Is like, I'm Moon Knight.
Like, does he have powers? Is he like a detective? Like, what is he?
Moon Knight is one of those guys who popped in my Ultimate Spider-Man books, and I went, that sure is a character I don't know. And then that's around when I stopped reading. So I'm like, Moon Knight to me is part of that time when I stopped reading comics.
Ah, okay.
So I don't really know Moon Knight at the top of my head.
Well, all right. Well, if I pick this up, Then I can hopefully read it and find out who Moon Knight is. I mean, come on. This written by Ed Brubaker. Brubaker is
Yes.
fucking great.
Yes, he is.
So
That's one of the reasons why I brought this one up. But so I'm gonna read this for next time, and I'll probably talk about it a little bit because I need some comics to read. So we'll do that, and then we're gonna start. I'm gonna start theming these a little bit about things that we're gonna be talking about because after next week, sorry, the week after next, we're gonna be talking about X-Men.
yes,
So we're probably gonna talk about X-Men a little bit next week because X-Men is actually one of the things I know the most about. 'Cause that's
big
what I
X
grew
Men
up reading.
fan.
Well, that's what I grew up reading was X-Men.
Ah, okay.
I grew up.
I know a little bit about X Men because I played the games that were on it. The two hack and smash games. I was
Mhm.
big fans of those.
I'm trying to think. That would be Adamantium Rage.
No, X Men Legends. I think it was.
Oh, you're talking about the RPGs.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, X-Men Legends and X-Men Legends 2 Apocalypse.
Yep. I love those games. Those games are great.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart in them too.
And even though X Men Two kind of ran down to villains pretty quickly when like the first one they tossed you was Grizzly, you're just like,
Yay,
what the fuck is
Grizzly.
Grizzly?
And then after that, of course, they became the MUA games,
Yeah,
Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
which are great but are fucking impossible to get now. They're like $70 on Amazon.
MUA 2 is also broken as fuck.
I love those games though. They're so much fun. They are
And
so
MUA
much
2 is about Civil War,
yeah.
which is okay.
I still think one of my favorite gaming moments is when I used to play the game with my brother. I always would play Captain America, and when Captain America would die, he would always he'd yell out, like "Avenge me!" So like the fucker would fall down a pit, and as he goes down, he'd be like, "Avenge me!" Against what? Stupidity? The pit? You died.
Damn it, Roger, stop falling down pits.
Also, Grey Gargoyle was a fucking monster in that. He
Mhm.
just whooped our candy ass like 6 times. It was disgusting.
I don't have a ton of members the first one, but I remember
These are great co-op games, is what I'm
well,
saying. If you have any people to play with, these games are amazing.
I played the second one online on Xbox Live, and that was one of the last games I think I played on my original Xbox on Xbox Live.
Mm-hmm.
Was that game? I remember playing that one a few times, and that was some fun. Was playing that one online and Patrick Stewart talking to you as a kind of bored Patrick Stewart reading from a script. I'm doing video games now. Okay,
What are these?
okay, X-Men.
Yeah, trying to
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
fight Colossus.
I guess maybe we'll talk about the games at some point because actually, before Disney took over, there's quite a few games too.
Yeah.
There was games based on all of them up to the Avengers, and only one of them was good.
Mm.
Do you want to guess which one? No, actually, two of them were good. You want to guess the two?
Captain America?
Yes.
Okay. I did not hear good things about Thor. I don't recall hearing good things about either Iron. Oh, fucking Incredible Hulk.
Yes. So the Incredible Hulk game was pretty rad. Edward Norton actually plays him in that, which is so weird. The Incredible Hulk game is worth playing alone just because of how bored Edward Norton sounds. It is the most bored that man has ever sounded in his entire life, and it's kind of amazing with him doing that. So that one's really good. And Captain America, what is it called? It's Captain America, and it's got a subtitle. It's not the video game. It's something really weird and dumb. But
Captain America, hero of the 40s or some bullshit like that.
crap like that. But it's an Arkham Asylum knockoff with Captain America.
Which, fair enough.
So it's like Captain
Makes
America
sense.
doing parkour and like doing crazy Batman fighting moves, and he's throwing a shield at people. And it was fun. It had a ton of his villains in there. I think you fight Strucker, you fight Zemo. No, Zemo's in there. Iron Patriot, which is actually a Captain America villain. And a few others. It was actually really fun, and I really enjoyed that game. And it was technically
I'm shocked they never did an Avengers game.
well, okay. Originally there was one planned by THQ was going to make it, and then THQ kind of went.
They were just like, hey, the only thing we make right now that actually makes us any money is those WWE games.
Yeah, that
Sure,
went well.
Give us the hugest property you possibly could at this
They
point.
were making it a first-person shooter.
That sounds terrible. What are you, just Black Canary or fucking Black Widow the entire game?
No, they had like shots of Captain
It'd be
America
great
with
to,
his hands shooting beams at people.
That'd be great if you're just Black Widow and all the cool Avengers just like hanging around, like flying around you doing cool shit, and you're just on the ground
entire
like
game,
pew 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 pew.
the entire game is you being Black Widow, having to watch other people beat up villains, and you're kind of going, "Aw."
Like Iron Man flies by, launches a bunch of missiles, destroys the entire thing, and it's like, "Good job, Iron Man!" Pew 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 pew. The Hulk jumps over you and destroys like a tank, and you're just like, "Good job, Hulk!" Pew pew pew.
But if memory serves, it's supposed to be like a 4-person co-op game where you get to play as the Avengers, like doing missions as a group. And I'm like, that kind of sounded like it would have been cool, but then Disney was like, "The fuck is this?" And then didn't let them make.
Shocks me because I'd imagine Disney would have just been like, "This will make us money. Print it."
Yeah, they probably would have made them a ton of money.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? After Avengers? Good
The
lord.
the shocking thing is that we didn't get an ass ton of official Avengers apps afterwards.
No, and that's what they've reduced it to right now. If you go to like, if you look up a Thor: The Dark World game, the only thing you find is that the app game. Like that's what they've kind of reduced their official games to now. Is just apps.
You know what? The Iron Man 3 one wasn't that bad.
This is the Endless Summer, right?
Yeah, it was. And I'm like, I'm kind of okay with this.
I'm kosher with this.
It wasn't offensively bad. And I like the idea that cuz I have a Nexus tablet and it's a nice tablet. And you know what? I had the game and I'm like, you know what? I don't really feel like, spending the real monies to do things, and I don't feel like grinding out to do things. But it's like the fact that they had like a entire lineup of his armor and you could look at all the armor in 3D and with 3D models. That was really cool. And I'm like, that's good enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was neat. But that's pretty much it for that kind of shit. That would be a fun topic. And the reason why we're talking about this now is because we are running a little under, aren't we?
A little bit under. Also, just as a side note of something to bring up, I've been kind of following the path that Captain America: The Winter Soldier has been making in the box office, and it is currently at 696.
No, it's ridiculous.
It's so close to 700 million.
Wasn't it like fifth last week? Something crazy like that?
It's still fit. It's still doing not like great in theaters. It's only making like a couple,
Like 5 or something.
Yeah, so it's not crazy numbers, but for a movie that's been out essentially like a month and a half,
That's crazy.
with like 3 other big movies since then, yeah.
Fifth after being out for a month and a half, being a tentpole movie, and still pulling in money against competition.
Yeah, I mean that's great.
That's ridiculous. It really does show the power of a great movie.
Yeah, I mean I'm hoping this is what they're going to kind of look to for the future when they come to these Marvel movies. It's just like, look how much money that made by really taking the time to make sure that the fucking script is great and you got a good movie on your hands.
We got the right people involved. We told the right story.
We made Captain America a unique property within the Marvel universe.
We made all the support characters matter.
Yeah, we took and we put more than one hero in one movie, and we made it work.
Mm-hmm. We got a great set of villains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping this becomes a trend because $700 million off of Captain America is going to be insane.
It's still, I still say it's ridiculous. It made more than Man of Steel, which is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's made a good amount more than Man of Steel at this point now.
Yeah, at this point it has. I didn't realize it had broken 700. Last time I looked was over the weekend.
It's not over 700 million.
Oh, okay.
It's
on track.
It's less than 4 million though, away from it.
Oh, it's gonna make that.
Yeah, it's most likely gonna make it, just in terms of like when it eventually goes to like those outside theaters that get movies later, shit like that. Even this weekend, it'll probably make $4 million.
It might get some spillover. Is really what's gonna end up happening.
So it's probably gonna break 700 million, which is again insane.
I mean, hell, I almost saw it this weekend myself because I haven't seen it in 2D, and I kind of wanted to. And I was like, I just did not have the time this weekend, or else I actually had planned to go and see Cap.
I wish I had seen it. I've seen it twice already. I know I feel kind of lame being like, I wish I had seen it a third time. I probably won't be able to just because now's when summer blockbuster season starts. So for exposition dump, I've got Godzilla this week, Days of Future
Mm-hmm.
Past the week after that, The Edge of Tomorrow the week after that. It's just movie,
Oh
movie,
God, I
movie,
forgot
movie.
Edge of Tomorrow's right after Days of Future Past.
Damn straight. And the fucking manga's so good, I'm super excited about that.
And you know what? I'm a fan of Tom Cruise science fiction movies, so
Just don't watch the trailer, because the trailer spoils so much.
I know I already saw it.
Don't watch the most recent one then.
Okay, because I saw the original one. But a few other things to wrap things up on. You guys have given us some good feedback here and there. The 2 or 3 that I've gotten. But thank you guys for listening. We do have some things planned for what we're going to end up doing. We probably will a little bit post Guardians. Start probably going every other week because we actually had talked about that originally.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Shield's done. We've got some time before Comic Con. We got some definitely a lot of time before Guardians comes out. So
We
it's
got till
possible.
August.
Yeah, it's possible we're not going to try to stretch every week and try to force topics out. So
No, but there's enough topics to really talk about until at least Guardians. And there's going to be some things that will be coming out. We're obviously going to start hearing more about. Well, let's be honest. Comic Con is going to give us enough probably until Guardians.
oh, I mean, good lord, I wouldn't be shocked if there's like a 4-hour episode after Comic Con, just based on how much I imagine we're going to get out of that.
I love how we keep calling it Comic Con.
I'd shut up. All right, I'm going to call it whatever the fuck I want.
I blame your mangas for
Your
doing that.
mangas, yeah.
Yeah. I always think like you're
Just so
saying
it's
that, and I'm imagining like it's like a manga like convention.
or it's full of communists. The Comic Con.
Either way, no, it's communists who read manga.
It's manga. Stupid.
What? You're the only one who can mispronounce things?
Yes. I'm the mispronouncer.
I swear to God, every single time I edit these, I just hear you mispronouncing things, and it makes me laugh every time.
I can just imagine you in your house just like kicking your legs like
like Kevin Feige,
I'm like Fiji.
Feige,
Feige.
Tom Hiddleston,
Like Joe Casado.
and I'm like, oh my God.
Quesada?
Or the fact that you kept calling Joss Whedon Josh.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Cause Joss isn't a name, alright?
It's
Josh.
not. It's Joss.
Joss isn't a name though. It'd be like if there was a guy it would be like if his name was Bort. I'm gonna call him Bart, because Bart's a name. Bort isn't a name.
You're not allowed to have this name that you're given. You're using the one that I'm saying, damn
I'm
it.
giving you your name, god damn it.
Well, that's been our little rambling just so we could fill out the hour, probably, because I have no idea what time it was when we started.
I think we've been quite a bit over an hour.
No, because our call's been an hour 20 minutes.
Yeah, and I think we started.
We vamped for like 20 minutes.
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're overestimating our vamping.
Yeah, we do. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this week. We'll see you guys next week for probably a little bit of comic talk, actually. It's probably what next week's going to end up being.
Damn straight. Maybe in some more of Earth's Mightiest Heroes if y'all are getting interested in that.
Mm-hmm. So let us know. Once again, on Twitter, I am Axnolous, AXNOLLOUSC. Have fun with that.
I'm Rollo T at ROLLOT. So super easy.
Yeah.
Basically, I just had to say there's 2 L's, and you got it.
You can also hear the fact that I'm so used to having to spell it out that I actually have it like with a rhythm.
Oh, I got that with my last name. Larios, Larios. I think it's immediate. No matter what. I could be talking to my own fucking family. I'm like, Chris Larios, and I'll still spell my name out immediately after I say it.
Well, once again, see you guys next time.
I couldn't have found a more boring anecdote to end that episode on.
No, you couldn't have.
I'm like, let me explain to you a very minor thing I do with my name.